a modern jazz wizard, string music on steroids, and getting your musical passport stamped for parts unknown. Those are just some of the highlights promised by the spring session of the Lane Series, kicking off this weekend at UVM. We're learning all about it today on Across the Fence. Hello, Vermont. Well, the last time today's guest joined me in the studio, we made latkes. Sadly, we don't have any of those today, but today we are cooking up excitement about the new musical acts coming to UVM. Basically, I think we both just have really great jobs. What do you say so? Well, Natalie Neuert, director of the Lane Series and a bona fide friend of Across the Fence. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Thanks for having me. Good.
Good. And I should say that Natalie is fresh back from, she's now in the season of starting to look for the next acts that are going to be coming to the Lane Series. Do you want to give us a little preview of anything that you have been seeing?
Well, I've been seeing a lot of good things. I saw a great string quartet in New York that I think I'll bring next year. I heard a hot, young, hungry jazz trio, kids just out of Juilliard, but playing like much more maturely. I heard a great singer from Brazil, so there's a lot going on. I need to sort it through my head.
Yeah, I remember when she started, I think last time you were here, and I asked you about looking and curating the shows, and you talked about the opportunity, how you go to all these conferences, and next you're going to be heading to New Orleans.
That's right.
To, you know, sit through jazz. I mean, it sounds bad, Natalie, is basically what I'm saying.
Very, very hard work.
Well, you were talking about strings, and I can't keep thinking, I still think about the Shostakovich that the RS Quartet performed in the last season.
So incredible.
In fall. Do you have any performances that stuck with you?
Oh, last fall. Well, that certainly
I mean, with
did.
last fall, we say, which is basically just ended.
We put that away.
Yes, exactly.
I loved the shows last fall. I
great.
thought we really kind of had very, very special acts. Oh gosh, I'm so thinking about moving forward that I'm not
that's fair.
moving back. But I will say this: this is a Van Cliburn year.
Yes.
So we started with the bronze medalist, and we start this season in a week or this weekend with the silver medalist.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because this is not something I'm familiar with, so I don't know what the Van Cliburn medalist is. So tell us about the significance of it.
Well, quickly, Van Cliburn was an American pianist from Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, who won the most prestigious award that you can win in the classical music world.
Which is what?
The Tchaikovsky competition.
Okay.
So he won that in Moscow in the 60s, and it was the height of the Cold War, and he got a ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue, and sort of famously, the fact that an American won was this huge big deal, and he was very retiring, like shy, but kind person. So they have started this competition in his name. It's been going on for a long time, maybe 30 years. And the Lane Series uniquely is one of the presenters in the United States that presents the medalists. They come every 4 years. The competition is only every 4 years.
Okay.
So every 4 years we present the gold, silver, and bronze medalists. And they're young, you have to be under 30 to compete. And they're extraordinary. They're just extraordinary. They're
so
like
seeing
the musicians.
a virtuoso at the beginning of
yes,
their career.
that's exactly right.
Okay, and that's how it's going to kick off, and that's starting this weekend at the first performance.
That's correct. That's Vitaly Starikov. He's
Okay.
a Russian.
Hey, well, that's nice. I mean, that kind of harkens all the way back to the Tchaikovsky Award in the
It does,
first
but
place.
there are a lot of Russians.
Okay. This also feels like a little bit going backwards, but just in case anybody at home is watching and doesn't really know, like here we are right in the middle of talking about the Lane Series, you want to real quick put us into context about what the Lane Series is?
Sure. The Lane Series started the same year as Across the Fence,
We're having
1955.
our 70th
We're both having our 70th. We're a presenter of live performance. We perform in the UVM Recital Hall, 300 seats, acoustic, pin drop acoustics, one of the finest halls in New England.
You got to see it in the cold open.
Right.
I've gotten to stand on that stage. It's
super comfortable.
so lovely there, yes.
2 Steinway grand pianos, an organ. comfortable seats, beautiful lighting, beautiful sound.
Yeah.
So we're very, very lucky to have that. We haven't always had that. We started off in Memorial Auditorium, and we used to be a big series in a gym.
I know, among the things that had happened at the Memorial Auditorium. And now you have been with the Lane Series too for also 35 years, is that
Not
right?
quite
Not
35.
quite 35, okay.
I started, I think, oh gosh, I don't know. My son is now 33 and he was 1, so we can do the math on that.
All right, well, there you go. So this is our refresher on the Lane Series and on Natalie for anybody at home, just to make sure we're all up to speed. So, you know, I had another question I'd wondered about. Do you ever do virtual broadcasts for people who don't live in the area?
We did during COVID, but we don't anymore. We tried to do it one year when people had come back to the hall, you know, maybe 2022. We tried to run both the virtual and the live, and we found that there were people who were very grateful, but it wasn't enough
Not
people.
enough, yeah. Okay.
People
so you do
wanted,
need to come. It's a reason to come to Burlington.
People want to be,
yeah.
They want the collective experience. They really want it.
They do. They do. And there is something about being in the room with everyone and sharing the experience of the music.
Exactly.
It's one of the things that makes it so special. Okay, well, so we talked about Vitaly Starikov. Okay, we talked a little bit about him. I had been looking at some of the acts, and my sister, I think I was telling you, just moved to Dublin. So there is one. Also, Erin watches this show on YouTube, so I'm going to say, hi, Augie. Hi, Erin. There's my viewers in Dublin. So I'm really curious about, is it Gadan? Gadan?
It's pronounced Gaden, like you
okay.
were saying the word garden and you were from Boston.
Ah, okay, so Gaden, playing with Enda Scahill of Banjo 3. Irish Music Magazine said this was string music on steroids. So tell us about it.
Well, Gaden is actually, believe it or not, an Italian band. They are from Italy. But they have mastered both the sort of Americana form and the Celtic form. So it's a Celtic string band, and they've invited to Enda Scahill, who's from We Banjos 3, which is one of the like really revered Irish Celtic bands.
Okay.
So they have this like real Irishman, and I will say that he's definitely got the charming Irishman thing going on. So this concert will not only be musically thrilling if you like Americana and Celtic music, but great patter, very funny. You'll be rolling in the aisles.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm getting tickets for that one. Okay, another one that jumped out at me, NPR said that Renee Rosnes, how do you say her last name?
Rosnes, yeah.
Rosnes is a modern jazz wizard, and I know that she is not actually a wizard. There are no wands involved. So what does that mean?
You actually pronounced her first name Rini, but you got the right name right.
Okay, there you go.
Rini Rosnes is the pianist and music director of the very famous all-women jazz ensemble Artemis. And we had Artemis last year, and I was blown away by Rini Rosnes. Creative, you know, I mean, jazz musicians are amazing to me because they have to like think it.
Yeah.
And then they have to hear it, and then they have to play it. And it's all happening in real time, piano.
She's piano, okay.
So I said to Rini, do you ever do solo piano shows? Because our audience loves solo jazz piano. And she said, I do, but you have 2 pianos, 2 grand pianos, which like nobody has. I also perform with my husband. So I'm like, who's your husband? Bill Charlap, who is a legendary jazz pianist. And I've had the opportunity to see Bill. Oh my God, he just performed with Dee Dee Bridgewater in New York at Winter Jazz Fest. He is one of the greats. So I had no idea they were married. And it was, oh my God, that was a no-brainer. Yeah. The thought of having the 2 of them. Yeah, it's a real twofer. It's going to be highly improvised. You know, they play standards, but then they just take off. And do their own thing, and you're going to hear this like interplay, and the fact that they're a married couple, like the communication,
that shorthand with each other.
Yeah, so the 2 pianos sort of face each other, so they're looking at each other. You nest them together, and
this is coming up February 20th. I'm putting that on folks' radar because it sounds like another one to get tickets for. Okay, and then here's the last one that jumped out at me. The Montreal Guitar Trio. How does a guitar group, because this is what we said about them, stamp our musical passports for parts unknown?
Well, I think, you know, they play music from all over the world and some very surprising things. They, you know, with a guitar trio, it's all about the arrangements, right? Because, you know, these the songs they play or the tunes they play or the pieces they play were not written for 3 guitars,
Yeah.
right? So that's the sort of surprise element. You know, they're very well known for their arrangements of the Ennio Morricone scores to like those old Clint Eastwood movies and things, Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's sort of like, wow, I'm hearing this on 3 guitars. So the different guitars take different voices in the piece. And so it's, what I love about it is that it's a way of hearing music that may be familiar to you in a completely new way.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And they're virtuosic.
Ah, very cool. Okay, so those were the ones that jumped out at me mostly because they had such interesting descriptors. Who else are you excited about?
I'm going to mention 2.
Okay, mention 2.
So one is a young Venezuelan folk singer who, her name is Nella Rojas.
Okay.
She just goes by Nella. She's one of the most beautiful performers I've ever seen. I saw her at the Blue Note in New York last year. I hired her right away.
And she's Venezuelan.
She's Venezuelan. It's I would say pop music. There's an element of like popular, catchy Latin music to what she plays, but it's sort of grounded. And this woman could be a pop star. She could absolutely be like a J-Lo.
Okay.
She's got all the magic.
All the charisma.
All the charisma, you know. But what's important to her is like her own music, like the folkloric music she grew up in. So it's sort of that music.
It sounds like a great show.
Gorgeous voice.
Yeah.
Great band.
Okay.
You know, there's sort of flamenco elements.
Making my note.
Yeah,
We're going for Nella. Okay, tell me
really
your other
worth
one.
going. And then the other, which is like a real pipe dream for me, is the choral group Roomful of Teeth. Who one of their members is, you know, Carolyn Shaw, one of the most important contemporary composers, won a Pulitzer in her early 20s for a piece she wrote for them, youngest person ever to win a Pulitzer for music. So she wrote a piece for them based on The Tempest, Shakespeare's Tempest, and then the other half of the show is a new piece by Gabriel Kahane, who's a classically trained folk singer who I love, and I really feel like people will embrace him here. Thoughtful, intelligent, funny kind of singer. And so he's actually appearing with them, and they're doing his new piece, which is called Elevator Stories, about people you meet in elevators.
Ooh, I like that. That's great inspiration.
Right.
Yeah, okay, well, fantastic. Anything we need to know about getting tickets online? Are things starting to sell out now?
Yeah, UVM.edu/Lane Series,
Yes.
and easiest phone number in the world,
Yes,
656-4455.
Oh my gosh, she's even got it memorized. But here, I'm going to do you one better. For the full calendar, tickets, Spotify lists, because they do have some Spotify lists, and more information on the artists performing during this spring session of the Lane Series, go to the Lane website. Information is right there on the screen. Natalie Neuert, thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see what the next thing we get to do together is. It's going to be fun. As always, Vermont, thank you for learning and exploring with me today. And thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.